Former President Trump, in a new statement, says he pleaded the Fifth Amendment today at the New York Attorney General's office. Back with us is NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney. Ken, so what do we know about this deposition that the former president had just moments ago?
So Trump has issued a pretty lengthy statement that obviously was written well in advance, Jose, where he lays out his reasons for taking the Fifth Amendment. And he acknowledges that he once said, if you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment? He also said the mob takes the Fifth. That was back in 2016. Well, he took the Fifth today, refused to answer questions, he's telling us, because he believes that this investigation by the New York State Attorney General, a Democrat, is illegitimate, is a witch hunt. He spent paragraph after paragraph attacking State AG Letitia James, who, in fairness, has criticized Donald Trump pretty vociferously before she launched this investigation. But it's important to point out here, Jose, that every time Letitia James has gone to court in this case and sought things, whether it's testimony or documents from the Trump Organization, judges have ruled in her favor. In fact, judges held Donald Trump in contempt of court for his refusal to turn over documents in this case, and they required that he and his children give these sworn depositions. But this answers the mystery. You know, we were talking at the top of the hour, one of Donald Trump's children, Eric Trump, had taken the Fifth in this case, but Ivanka Trump and Don Jr. testified a few weeks ago and were told they did answer questions. But the former president has decided there's too much legal jeopardy. I'll just read a little bit more of what he said. He said, when your family, your company, and all the people in your orbit have become targets of an unfounded, politically motivated witch hunt supported by lawyers, prosecutors, and the fake news media, you have no choice. And he said that the raid on Mar-A-Lago cemented in his mind that he really shouldn't be cooperating with any investigation. You know, Jose, criminal defendants often talk this way. He's not a criminal defendant in this case. He's a civil defendant. But people under investigation often speak this way. The difference is that millions of people across the country, as we know from personal experience, are going to believe every word that Donald Trump says, even despite the fact that the courts have found this was a perfectly legitimate civil fraud investigation, Jose.
Ken Delaney, thank you very much for that.
Former President Trump is now pushing back on the Washington Post report that the FBI was searching for paperwork related to nuclear weapons at his home in Florida. Trump posted this message to his social media platform a short time ago, calling the nuclear weapons issue, quote, hoax. He compared it to other investigations during his presidency and made another reference to his baseless claim of agents planting evidence. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced yesterday that he's pushing to make the search warrant the FBI used to enter Mar-a-Lago public. And Donald Trump has said that he won't stand in the way of that. It's an unusual move, as no charges have actually been filed. So we want to bring in CBS News Chief Election and Campaign Correspondent Robert Costa for more on this. So, Robert, you know, with all these sort of calls for more transparency, unsealing the warrant is one thing, but why not unseal the affidavit? We get more information out of that.
Good morning. This is a delicate moment, legally and politically, highly unusual for an active attorney general to weigh in on an ongoing investigation, but he felt compelled to do so because of the fervor in different quarters about how this FBI search unfolded earlier this week. You raise a good question about the affidavit, the foundational evidence that leads to the search warrant. Because of the fragility of this legal and political moment, there's a reluctance to do too much, it appears, on the side of the Justice Department, but they want to do more than is usually done in the sense of releasing the search warrant. They gave the former president an opportunity to fight the release of the search warrant in court. But when cases are ongoing, investigations are ongoing, affidavits are rarely given out unless there are charges and it's going to trial. This is an ongoing investigation that's nowhere near that stage, it appears. And so what they're doing is seeming to agree at this point that they're not going to fight the search warrant, but the search warrant could be quite bare bones, not much information about the evidence that led to it.
Well, as you heard, the former president put out a statement saying he wants to see the warrant unsealed. But sometimes, you know, the former president gets ahead of his lawyers. If his lawyers wanted to fight this, would they be able to?
We will have to wait until 3 p.m. today to see if they formally oppose it. It appears the former president and his legal team, based on these Truth Social statements, have decided not to fight the unsealing of the search warrant, to the point I made about it maybe being a pretty basic document, an outline of why the Justice Department and FBI showed up at Mar-A-Lago, because there was interest in documents there. But beyond the interest in documents, it could be quite vague in terms of what it says about the content of different presidential records that they might have been seeking. We do know that they have been looking for classified documents, sensitive documents. The Washington Post, with its reporting on nuclear documents of some sort being pursued. All of this goes back to the original onus of the case, which is a concern that the former president took documents to his private residence that were records that should not be kept in an unsafe way at a private home.
All right, Robert Costa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has the highest inflation in over 40 years, where the stock market just finished the worst first half of a year in more than 5 decades. We are a nation that has the highest energy cost in its history, and we are no longer energy independent or energy dominant, which we were just 2 short years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and Saudi Arabia for oil. We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving behind dead soldiers, American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment in the world. We are a nation that allowed Russia to devastate a country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse. We're a nation that has weaponized its law enforcement against the opposing political party like never before. We've never seen anything like this. We're a nation that no longer has a free and fair press. Fake news is about all you get. We're a nation where free speech is no longer allowed, where crime is rampant like never before, where the economy has been collapsing, where more people died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020. We're a nation that is allowing Iran to build a massive nuclear weapon, and China to use the trillions and trillions of dollars it's taken from the United States to build a military to rival our own. We are a nation that over the past 2 years is no longer respected or listened to all around the world. And we are a nation that is hostile to liberty and freedom and faith. We are a nation whose economy is floundering, whose stores are not stocked, whose deliveries are not coming, and whose educational system is ranked at the bottom of every list. We are a nation that in many ways has become a joke. But soon we will have greatness again. It was hard-working patriots like you who built this country, and it is hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. Ever, ever, ever. We will never give in. We will never give up. And we will never, ever back down. We will never let you down. As long as we are confident and united, the tyrants we are fighting do not stand even a little chance. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and God alone. And it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again.
The more that they attack President Donald Trump, the more it makes me want to support him.
President Trump has been accused of multiple amounts of things that turn out to be a load of shit, frankly honest with you. Will this turn out to be the same? I suspect it might.
Nothing is going to happen. He is able to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and he's just going to get off or continue to live his lavish life that he does.
There appears to be a witch hunt going on in Washington right now. It is not bilateral, it is not equal, and I think they're trying to drum up because former President Trump is looking to rally the troops to maybe run again. They're trying to shut him down before that happens.
What actually surprised me was not that he had classified documents, because we all sort of knew that, was the sheer number of classified documents of varying levels of classification that he had.
How do you feel, Mr. Trump? How do you feel?
Even if he did wave his wand and declassify everything, that doesn't change his legal liability, because the Espionage Act does not require that the information be classified. It requires that it be related to the national defense, whether it's classified or not. I mean, these are felonies, and these are severe felonies. The Espionage Act is what we prosecute spies under.
On August 8th, the FBI searched former President Donald Trump's Mar-A-Lago estate. The Washington Post reported agents were searching for classified documents related to nuclear weapons, among other things. In response, Trump issued a now-deleted statement that former President Barack Obama kept 33 million pages of documents, much of them classified. So, let's verify. Did former President Barack Obama keep 33 million pages of his administration's records? Our sources are the National Archives and Records Administration and the Presidential Records Act. For nearly 2 centuries, presidential records were considered the president's private property. This changed in the wake of the Watergate scandal, and in 1978, the Presidential Records Act was passed, requiring presidents to turn over nearly all of their paper records to the National Archives when they leave office. In most cases, presidents will then work with the National Archives to display some of their records in a presidential library, but the records remain the property of the archives. The National Archives responded to Trump's claims about Obama, saying that they are in possession of all 30 million pages of records that Obama turned over. So, no, former President Barack Obama did not keep 33 million pages of his administration's records. The Obama Foundation is working to digitize items and make them available online, although the foundation says the process was delayed during the pandemic. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.